And as primary election day approaches, the amount of money spent so far has been adding up too.
Joining us now with more insight on the candidates and the campaign cash, Chicago Tribune chief political reporter Rick Pearson is here. Hello, Rick. How are you?
Hello, Micah. Hello, Ray.
Hi.
Okay, so the big day is tomorrow. And the biggest race right now, of course, is the governor. We heard that Donald Trump has endorsed Darren Bailey. The polls are showing that Bailey has gotten ahead of Richard Irvin right now. But since Friday, things have changed a little bit. It's gotten to be a little bit more political. Roe v. Wade was overturned. So that kind of changes the dynamic right now, doesn't it?
It certainly does in the minds of voters. And I think, when you look at primaries, because of the fact that it's a partisan vote, you pull either a Democratic ballot or you pull a Republican ballot. I think in both cases, that will tend to motivate the base to turn out. When it gets to individual candidates, it'll be interesting to see, how this plays with that always critical suburban women vote, particularly in the Democratic primaries where you have, same ideology about support for abortion rights, but will it motivate, say, Democrats to support a woman candidate over a male candidate, even though they both share the same views?
Well, speaking of this race, Rick, let's talk about the money here. $50 million at least from Ken Griffin to Richard Irvin. Richard Uihlein, $10 million for Darren Bailey. That's just on the GOP side. Talk to me about, the context here compared to past races of this magnitude.
Well, the last time we had contested races in both parties was 4 years ago, the heavily contested Democratic race that obviously J.B. Pritzker went on to win the governorship. Bruce Rauner was in a contested race with a conservative challenger. Those two combined for about $125 million just in the primary then. We're going to be there, if not break that. I mean, just on the TV alone, you're looking at the fact that almost $100 million in the governor's race across the state, and almost, I would say, 44 million of that is actually Democratic money, even though Pritzker has only nominal challenge. It's Democratic money from Pritzker as well as the Democratic Governors Association that have gone in to try to promote backhandedly Darren Bailey by saying he's too conservative, to try to drive up conservative vote for him and attack Richard Irvin. The belief was there is that you would have had a battle of the billionaires between J.B. Pritzker and Ken Griffin, who had backed Irvin to that $50 million. And if Irvin had won, were to win the nomination, there would be as much as $100 million more coming from Ken Griffin, putting the race on a substantially equal footing.
Rick, the rush to replace Bobby Rush after 30 years, he is stepping down. 17 candidates vying for that position, but they all kind of have the same views. Does it come down to a popularity contest or, who's got name recognition like a Jonathan Jackson?
Micah, you're absolutely right. I think it comes down to name recognition. I mean, the thing about this is that of those 17 Democrats, you have probably, I would say, more than half of them have good name recognition within the first congressional district. So, you've got aldermen, you've got state legislators. I don't want to even start to go through the names because we don't have that much time.
Businessmen, you've got a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah, but they are known people, and so. I mean, the one fact of the matter is when you have this many candidates, it doesn't take that many votes to become the nominee, especially when you're looking at, as we've talked about, a low turnout primary.
I want to talk about the Secretary of State's race, but since we're on the congressional focus, let's talk about the 6th district. You've got really two incumbents, Sean Casten and Marie Newman. Polling from last month, at least, I know that's ages ago already, showed Casten with a slight edge. Who do you think has who has the advantage going into tomorrow?
I think going in tomorrow, it's actually a pretty much a toss-up. I mean, here again, and this is kind of one of these races I was referring to about that Supreme Court ruling, and does it motivate a women's vote to support a women's candidate in this race, even though both of these candidates hold the same view on abortion rights and have been endorsed by abortion rights organizations. So this is kind of it was already a key one to watch here. Casten, a two-term representative, Newman, a freshman representative, part of the redistricting process of Illinois losing one of its 18 congressional seats after the census.
Yeah, let's talk about the Secretary of State's race. After 22 years, Jesse White is stepping down, and he has endorsed Ana Valencia, but Alexi Giannoulias is trying to resurrect his career in politics. And then you've got Alderman David Moore.
Yeah, and this is going to be again another interesting one because you have the dynamics of a bulk of the, I guess, Democratic establishment, along with some progressives that have actually endorsed Ana Valencia. Alexei Giannoulis, big with being able to raise cash here, also has a slew of union support here, and so this is going to be a real test about who has the bigger draw, the establishment Democrats or the union power that Alexei's been able to organize. And then you've got David Moore on the outside too.
And then there are the GOP candidates as well.
Well, and this is going to be an interesting one too. Is Dan Brady's a longtime state senator from Bloomington, Illinois. He's a mortician actually, so he's familiar with the organ donor program aspects of the Secretary of State's race. And then you've got John Millhiser. He was part of this Ken Griffin-funded Richard Irvin slate of candidates. But Millhiser, he has excellent credentials as a prosecutor, former
U.S. attorney.
Former U.S. attorney, former Sangamon County attorney, but in all of his campaign appearances, he's talking about rooting out corruption in government. And people have wondered, why wasn't he the candidate for attorney general, which is more directly associated with that than the Secretary of State's office?
All these interesting storylines, and voter turnout has been low as expected. Here, we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Rick Pearson with the Chicago Tribune. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks much, guys.
All right. And WGN's special election night coverage, by the way, kicks off at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. We will have full coverage and analysis as the results come in, along with live reports from candidates' election night headquarters. It all begins tomorrow night here on WGN and streaming live on WGNnews.com and on our WGN Plus app on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV.